Coffee for Peace is not just coffee. It's just coffee. So let's drink coffee for peace.
This is Felicitas Joji Pantoja, a woman with great passion for peace. She studied in University of Santo Tomas back in 1979, and she's also a graduate student of University of the Philippines. October of 2017, Joji completed her Master of Entrepreneurship in Social Enterprise Development. Pantoja is also a mother to 3 enterprising children and grandmother to 7 girls. But above all, she's a peace advocate who dedicates most of her time for attaining peace and sustainable livelihood into the community. She serves concurrently as CEO of Coffee for Peace Incorporated, a journey towards peace building, particularly in Mindanao.
After 20 years with her husband, Luis Daniel Lacan Pantoja, she decided to return to the Philippines, realizing that sustainable economic development is crucial to our people's search for just peace. She believes that genuine, effective peace advocacy must be economically sustainable. The idea CFP began in 2006, when the founder helped to facilitate an informal conflict mediation with their whole Mindanao-based peace-building network between certain migrant and Bangsamoro farming communities. The two groups were involved in an armed conflict where the founders stopped Christian and Muslim neighbors going to war over the ownership of rice fields.
Instead of killing each other or shooting each other, the two parties in conflict were invited over for coffee in order to have a talk. Since then, the two communities avoided killing each other, and instead they invited the surrounding communities to have coffee in order to promote peace. So kalilintad is another term is a Maguindanao term for peace.
During dialogues in conflict areas they worked in, Joji noticed the constant presence of coffee. She realized that coffee is a universal drink that everyone enjoys. Regardless of religion and affiliation, this became her inspiration when they established Coffee for Peace.
This is the story on how CFP started. Coffee for Peace was born from the work that the founder, Luis Daniel A. Pantoja and Joji Pantoja, started called Peace Builders Community or PBCI. It advances peace and reconciliation throughout Mindanao and the Philippines. It incessantly seeks for various ways to economically allow the marginalized communities in Mindanao and the Philippines become sustainable. Remember that this is not only an approach to sustaining peace efforts, but also to give better alternative to armed struggle and other destructive environmental practices just to bring food on the table.
Coffee for Peace uses coffee as a tool to promote relational harmony by teaching farmers processes to produce. Coffee for Global Equality Coffee, organizing and paying farmers just prices for their coffee, linking them to the market, and encouraging them to be social entrepreneurs themselves.
Basically, CFP started as an income-generating program of the peace-building community. A Mennonite-supported peace-building movement in the Philippines that exists. Their first goal is to train and multiply effective peace and reconciliation team leaders.
CFP is working with coffee farming communities using peace and reconciliation or PAR principles and practices, and they propagate PAR by training young social entrepreneurs and expect them to apply PAR principles in the practical world of business. In the process, the company is integrating people into its high-quality coffee value chain. PAR is a set of knowledge and skills that includes justice advocacy, peace building, conflict transformation, and the promotion of active non-violence as a way to resolve conflicts.
The demands for coffee continues to grow, which gives the coffee farmers in our country the opportunity and the possibility to earn income and be sustainable. Coffee, classified as high-value crop, can give higher income to our marginalized coffee farmers.
Coffee addresses many aspects of challenges that our country is facing. It can protect our environment, a source of sustainable income for the farmers, and a vehicle to promote peace in our land. It can keep the land that the indigenous people were claiming as part of their ancestral domain. They are the natural guardian of the forest.
For environment, Coffee for Peace believes that economic ecological transformation cannot be separated from peace building. When they look at nature, they see an organic, relational world in contrast to the modernistic, mechanical, utilitarian worldview. This is how the indigenous peoples of the Philippines see their environment, and we are sharing their lenses. The best coffee plants grow best under thick forests. Coffee growing, this indigenous people's way, is natural and environment friendly. As fellow stewards of our planet, we must respect traditional ways of preserving our natural environment.
For farmers, coffee comes primarily from various indigenous people of the Philippines. With the help of Peace Builders community, a non-government whom they collaborate with, the indigenous people are trained to plant, grow, and process their Arabica coffee and Civet coffee in accordance with world-class standards. Coffee for Peace, then, buys their green beans at a fair traded price. Coffee for Peace is committed to support their journey towards achieving the indigenous people's right to self-determination.
For peace builders, Coffee for Peace investors, before joining them, must agree that 25% of their net profit will be donated to Peace Builders Community Incorporated. This money will be used to support their peace and reconciliation team, who are being trained to be agent of peace and reconciliation in their respective communities. The PAR teams are composed of local volunteers from conflicted affected communities who are paired with international volunteers.
For CFP, social enterprise are businesses that make money and work toward improving the peace and reconciliation journey of the land. By selling quality goods and services to consumers, which they determine through market research, they seek to help solve conflicts in the land in a suitable way. This illustration shows the earning and engagement of farmers in a social enterprise. IP coffee farmers who have rediscovered their respective indigenous worldview, value systems, and customs tend to produce and serve their partners from other communities with excellence. Aside from providing a livelihood, it also helped increase farmers' income by 300%, and are able to send their children to school, build durable homes, and experience food security. CFP has trained around 880 families in 6 locations. The company has 2 cluster communities in Davao del Sur, 3 clusters in Bukidnon, 1 in Matutong, 2 communities in Kalinga, 1 in Mindoro, and 1 in Antique. Coffee for Peace has partnered 13 tribes, strengthening social justice in conflict areas, and contributed to restoring safety and security.
Coffee for Peace is not just for peace, because the meaning of peace in our peace is also harmony with your environment. So we support in protecting our environment because of the recent phenomenon of climate change. We need to be conscious in protecting our environment, and coffee is one good tree that could hold the soil and can be planted up in the mountain that could make our forest sustainable. So that's how we see it. So we really encourage businesses to be conscious while doing business, do good also. Because when you do good, you do well.